Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of my McLaren Road to Glory. You guys absolutely loving the series so far as we pretty much are nearing the halfway point of Season 1. This is round 11 out of 23 for the British Grand Prix. And yeah, our home race, my home race, the team's home race pretty much. And big pressure to perform as McLaren, of course, on home soil. Now, before we jump into today's episode, guys, yesterday's episode went out pretty late. The Austrian Grand Prix, a sprint race on the new updated layout. So go check it out, guys. Link in the top right. It was a pretty fun race, or fun two races actually, with the sprint included. And we're going to jump into this episode as we have first and foremost a marketing department event. Before we jump into spoilers and things that happened in the last episode. So as you can see, we have to choose a new rival. I could not comment, but why not? Let's choose Hamilton for the sake of it and see if we can give him a run for money. Either way, that aside, I got a mysterious extra 400 R&D points for a supposed mechanical failure, even though I double checked my components and we didn't have anything of the sort. So I'm not too sure exactly what happened there. Maybe a small glitch. Either way, I'm taking it, but that's 400 extra points. That aside, we had 4 upgrades come through, no failures, 2 on the engine and 2 on the durability. And as you can see, we're going to go ahead and purchase some more upgrades as we have quite a few points saved up. So we're going to first and foremost purchase those with some sort of a discount, which is the main thing. And you can see we also actually dropped the bottom of the chassis performance, so we're going to have to try and level that up as we're top of the engine by quite some way. And this upgrade for the energy store will put us top of durability. So pretty much our power unit is the best in the field, but the aero and the chassis is lacking a bit. So we'll work on those over the next few races. For this weekend, we have no rain forecast, and we have the updated performance chart. As you can see, we're taking small steps forward. We're not actually progressing a lot, but we're also not staying stagnant. We're actually just gradually moving up, but hopefully bigger upgrades will be on the way soon. We've kind of gone through a phase of durability upgrades because we lost 2 engine components recently, so we're kind of basically compensating for that. And yeah, we recently just right now a moment ago bought the energy store, which is basically the last important piece of what we need for our engine. So hopefully, if we do have to take a penalty, it won't happen until the end of the season, hopefully. So if it all goes well, no more failures, that should be the plan from now on, and we can now turn our focus to performance updates. And yeah, chassis, aero, regardless of discount, whether there is one or there isn't, we can just basically do it and improve the car. Now, we got through practice, went very well. Tyre wear, a little bit higher, but manageable. Fuel consumption actually quite high. That aside, there was one thing that I had to change, and that was the turbocharger, which is around 70%, and we're going to basically, want to get that changed because this is a relatively high power circuit, and a turbocharger being on its last legs is not what you want heading into qualifying at Silverstone. Now, with that done and the change in place, we then finished practice. We got a total of 2,200 points now. We didn't get many discounts, to be fair. I just didn't hit the goals for those. I just basically made sure to get the programs done, so it counted. But yeah, we're going to jump into qualifying, Q1. And I'm looking forward to this because Silverstone is one of those tracks that in this game has also been redone. This is probably the biggest one of the lot in terms of changes, and it's so much fun to drive. So I'm looking forward to basically, driving in anger flat out and seeing how fast we can really send it around here. So currently on our banker lap, trying to see what the pace is on our first run. Currently behind Ocon, who isn't going to be much of a distraction. We clip the inside sausage curb there, which is a bit of a time loss at the final chicane. Across the line we go for a 1:26.7, and not the best.
They're currently 5th. Okay, so their best lap time is a 1:26.1.
We lacked a little bit of pace. That lap wasn't super convincing, so I went for a second attempt. I feel like it was a pretty good lap up until Sector 3. I think Sector 3 is where there's a bit of time to find, especially that final chicane, which kind of let me down. But on my second lap, you just saw there, I just dipped a wheel in the grass at the front left as I went to turn in at the corner, which just gave me some understeer, and I just basically went straight off the track at Cops. So the second run is pretty much in the bin. We won't really know what the lap would have been, but you can see right now we're P18, and we're a couple of tenths away actually from getting through. So we're looking at potentially a surprise, or an unexpected, should I say, Q1 elimination. We've been in pretty good form lately in qualifying, and we've had a couple of Q3s, so this would go a bit against the recent run of form in Monaco, Canada, Austria. So we'll try again. Fresh set of tyres, minimum fuel, and some small tweaks on tyre pressures as we're now going to commit to the lap. So turns 1, 2, flat out. Turn 3, brake at almost a 50, and make sure to, at this entire sequence, get a good exit out of turn 4 for the Wellington straight. We didn't get the best exit. It was looking pretty good up until that point. We had a bit of wheel spin, and I was a bit slow to get the power down. Through the long left of Brooklands into Luffield now. Try to stay tight here whilst maintaining a good minimum speed, which is exactly what I've done. And I found a 10th and a half, which I didn't think I had through there. So that was a positive time gain as we now head into Cops. This time trying to keep the tyre out of the grass, which is perfect. And we carry a lot of speed. A little confidence lift, wasn't fully flat through there after what happened in the last run. And I feel like I'm just lacking a bit of confidence to really commit for a lap here as we go through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. Right on the limit there as we hit the white line on the exit. And this is a very decent lap up on Joe by 2 tenths right now, and nearly 4 tenths up on my personal best. Into Stowe, clip the outside curb down to 5th briefly, run it as wide as you dare as we're carrying that speed down into the chicane. 3rd gear, avoid the sausage curb, short shift to 4th, again use all the new run off curb and get the power down as we get an excellent exit, finding that lost time, and we improve by a half a second to P12. My reaction is uncertain. I'm not sure if it will be enough. We're going to need a bit of luck. Will we get into Q2? No. Unfortunately not. We're out. So, less than a 10th, but we just missed the cutoff, which is a real big shame, as I thought that lap might have just got us in. I don't really know where else I could have found a lot of time, to be honest. I was quite happy with the lap. Maybe if I had a bit more confidence, I could have maybe taken Cops flat, but I mean, I don't know if that would have given me a 10th. It really is just kind of those fine margins. So I'm not totally mad, but when it's always those kind of small gaps, you always feel like you can find that time somewhere. I just don't know where it might have been. Probably turn 4, if I had to pinpoint. You know, we lost a bit on the exit, and I struggled to kind of hook up turn 3 and 4 onto the Wellington straight anyway in league racing or career mode. So that's one of my weaknesses, and I'm still kind of struggling to get that right. So I could probably say that's the one area where we have to improve, because sector 1 was my weakest sector out of the 3. So yeah, qualifying done. We're now going to move into the race, and I'm not optimistic, but I'm not pessimistic. I think we can get points, but we're going to have to work for it, and it's not going to be easy. So guys, qualifying done. Let's get into the race. Do a prediction down below, and let's see what happens.
Welcome to not only the home of British motorsport, but also the birthplace of the Formula One World Championship. It's race day here at Silverstone, a classic on the calendar, and it's time for the British Grand Prix. With good opportunities to overtake at the end of the Wellington and Hangar Straights, there's a lot of potential for close action around the 3.6 miles of Silverstone circuit. With 18 corners and average lap speeds of around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the longest and quickest circuits on the calendar. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Russell, Sainz, Perez, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Stroll, Norris, Bottas, Joe, Albon, Magnussen, Gasly, Martinez, Tsunoda, Sargent, Hulkenberg, and Nick de Vries. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, the surface looks clean enough, but I'm a little bit worried about the track temperature. It's pretty cool out there, which could give some teams difficulties when it comes to keeping their tyres in the right operating window. The cars out there that work their tyres hard and really put a lot of energy through them, they'll be the ones that are better off.
Here we go then. Time for my home race, the British Grand Prix at Silverstone, and we're starting from 16th. So no penalties, no changes to grid position, so no big surprises. As for the race, I'm going to try and see if we can get aggressive. I'm going to go for the one stop, which is a simple strategy. It's the way to go. I'm not sure how or what to expect. You know, the setup feels good. I'm happy with the car and the balance, but In practice, normally I can tweak it or qualifying if I feel like we have a deficiency or we're a bit poor in a certain sector, but we're kind of losing equal amounts of time in each sector, so I'm not really sure if we're good in the corners or bad in the corners or bad in the straights or good in the straights. I really can't tell. So this race is going to reveal pretty much if it's a good setup or a bad setup. I feel pretty comfortable with it. I can't make any more adjustments. I think this is the best we're going to get. So yeah, we'll just see what happens and we'll see how it goes. Fuel-wise though, for this race, I will lower it to about 0.8 of a lap. I think that should be okay. And hopefully we can make it work. But yeah, we're going to give it a shot and see if we can have a good race. The key thing here is trying to get the tyres warmed up. They struggle to warm up around here and get a good start. Maybe getting 3 or 4 places and then basically be sitting on the cusp of the top 10. And then hopefully we can gradually make some progress. But yeah, hopefully our race pace is worth it and good. So yeah, guys, like the video, subscribe if you're enjoying up until this point as I'm trying to reach the 100k mark. And yeah, down below, as always, a prediction in the comments on where I can finish. But let's get into it and let's see if we can try and fight back. Right then, here we go. We've got a few mixed tyre strategies, a few cars on softs, some on mediums. Lights are on, and away we go. Good start, happy with that. That's a decent start on the medium. After turn 1 though, whoa, Joe very slow on the apex there. Luckily we chose the right line and we went to the outside. I'm going to try and go on the outside again here at turn 3, which gives us the inside into 4. That's exactly where you want to be. Oh, we lock on there with Albon. I'm trying to turn away, but he locked onto us. Bit of a 50-50 there. I was trying to close the door on the outside, but Albon wasn't going to give it up. So we just locked on a little bit, luckily. No damage, and we're still in one piece. Now, we did pass a bunch of soft tyre runners, to be fair. The medium runners are still ahead of us, but we're up to P13, so that is an excellent start. Now we're going to get our first taste to see exactly what we're looking like in a straight line. Looks like we're not doing too shabby. Although Albon in the Williams is going to be very, very slippery. Here he goes. I'm using all my battery, but I simply can't answer. So that's a bad first indicator that we could be down on straight line speed. But we'll see how things pan out once DRS eventually gets enabled. For now, we're holding on. And we've got Lando running wide up ahead. So a bit of a moment there for Lando, and actually he pits, so damage for our teammate as we head into the chicane. Ocon Magnussen side by side.
Lando's coming in for his stop now.
Okay, so we'll keep Albon on bay. First time through turn 1, trying to get the feelers out to see exactly how much grip we have. Ocon and Magnussen on medium, so that's good in terms of strategy. Just got to try and weather the storm and keep these soft tyre runners behind. Early indicators, I'm not sure we have a lot of pace, but I could be wrong. We'll know properly for certain next lap once the AI stop abusing the battery. First warning as we run wide. Albon looking for the move on the outside. I will stop using battery. I'm confident I can hold this on the inside. Like so. I just run Albon out of road. So P12 ran out. And P10 is staring us right in the face with DRS about to get enabled. So a very good start to this Grand Prix.
Okay, DRS will be enabled for this lap. You can use it when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Should still get DRS here. On Ocon, yes we do. Oh, Ocon, Magnussen side by side. Into the S section. Ocon getting very aggressive with Magnussen. And he gets it done around the outside. That is a quality overtake. Somehow, I don't have DRS, even though I was within a second. So, I'm never going to try and fight Albon there. Not with that straight line speed difference.
Okay, mate, we might need to look at a new race strategy after that. I've got some options for you, so go and check your MFD.
Oh dear, I just completely got caught out there. Completely. I braked so late compared to the AI into that particular corner. Albon just brake checked me so much. Not his fault, my own. I didn't react in time. Ugh, God. I was so focused on Ocon and Magnussen as well, I wasn't really paying attention that well. Either way, yellow flag up ahead. A safety car might bail us out. Both myself and Lando in trouble, which is really not good. Go for the hard tyre though, and we'll just basically run it long as R1 retires. Wing change 7.4, there we go. So we'll be behind Lando, but I don't think we've got a lot of pace here, guys, so we're going to be relying on a late safety car to bail us out pretty much, or a red flag. There is nothing else we can do. Well, I'll say that red flags are bugged, so I keep forgetting to turn that feature off.
Alright, we'll be doing one more stop today. One stop left of this strategy.
So we'll drive away, try and see if we can get some confidence with the car as we overtake L1, who has now retired on the right hand side. Not bad, 30-0 in complete clean air without using any battery or DRS on a hard tyre. Sometimes when you're out of the AI's disturbance, you can actually run at decent pace as well, but this isn't enough. We're not fast enough. I'm looking at Lando's pace, albeit on a soft tyre, but still, we're losing about a second a lap to Lando. That's more like it. We only lost about a tenth or two to Lando on that lap, although my pace was the same. It's more that his pace is dropping. Soft tyres drop off really fast. Got a lot of tyre wear, to be fair. It's very high, even on this hard tyre, it's pretty high. Tyre feels great, very consistent. Some good laps I'm setting right now as we dip into the 29s.
Lando's in the pits. Lando in the pits.
So Lando hopping off that soft tyre. As both myself and Lando battle for the wooden spoon in this race, unless something happens. We haven't had that many safety cars, really. Besides Canada, it hasn't been a common occurrence, so we'll see if we get lucky. This would be the race for it, but right now nothing's happening. So right now Sonoda and Gasly in the pit lane. And they're going to be some of the soft runners to pit. There's still more yet to arrive, but they're going to actually rejoin ahead of us. Pit stop is approx 27 seconds. And they're about 32 seconds up the road, so we're not even going to see them. Frustrating, but it is what it is right now. We might get close to De Vries here, might get close to a car. Not going to overtake though, but this is the closest we've gotten. Pretty much everyone has pitted now besides I think 2 or 3 cars, so this is the reality of our race. So yeah, we need a miracle, simple as that, both for myself and for Lando.
Okay, some information on Norris. Okay, they're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
And yellow flag, so it's not just an issue, it's mechanical, not just a temporary. But this could be what we need.
Box, we're coming in this lap.
Maybe a McLaren Lando sacrifice to at least bail one of the cars out might be the answer. Let's see, Lando looks like he's going to the pit lane, so maybe a puncture.
Lando's coming in for his stop now.
Accidental double shift there, but Lando pits again, so maybe a puncture or something. If it gets to lap 23 and we still have another safety car, then I will just retire the car. I'm not really too fussed about battling for P18. I'd rather save the engine a bit. Obviously we're not going to pit, we're going to try and get the tyres to the end. But yeah, I'm really hoping for a safety car at any point now, to be honest, because we're going to need the laps to also catch back up to reform the field, because Lando's basically a lap down at this point. Oh, here we go, yellow flag in the S section. This might be our last opportunity. Let's see if someone does indeed retire. That could trigger a safety car very late on. It's one of the Red Bulls. Sergio Perez. Looks like we're not going to get anything for it though. That's unfortunate.
Yellow flag.
No luck again, just need a safety car, man. Just to bail us out. I'm actually putting some pressure on De Vries now. I feel like he's struggling for pace.
Be aware there's an incident in the next part of the track. No overtaking through the yellow flags.
And I feel like I could probably pass him, in fairness. To be fair, we're going to be well within puncture territory very soon. 75% of course. And we still have 5 laps to go, 5.5 laps to go.
That's us with 5 laps of fuel remaining. 5 laps of fuel left.
So yeah, this could be interesting. Right then, we need a safety car, basically now. But I don't think it's going to happen. Let's go for the move on De Vries here for a bit of fun. Why not? I've done no overtaking this race, no racing, so let's have a bit of fun. We've got a full charge of battery, so let's get to use it. Tyres are going to pop at any second. Oh, there we go, we breezed past easily. I won't retire because it is my home Grand Prix unless we get a puncture. If it punctures, we're done. But I'll try to see the checkered flag. Here comes De Vries, he's putting the pressure on. Looking for the move. Side by side into Cops. Have to leave a space. I will let him take track position here. It means I get DRS on the hanger straight. A bit of a scrap on the last lap, why not, for the show. Oh, the tyres are really starting to let go now though. Got no battery left. De Vries using his reserves. Oh, this is really stressing the left front. De Vries on the cutback. It's going to be a grandstand finish. Easy on the left front. But there we go, we're going to hold on. And the tyre's also going to hold on. And we don't finish last.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Yet another historic win under their belts. Well done to the whole team at Mercedes. And talk to me, what do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take the top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
Before we jump into the results, I hope I wasn't the only one that noticed George Russell has no teeth. And that was quite a scary image on the podium. Anyway, that aside, this was a bad race for us guys, a really bad race in the championship, because if you look at P5, P6, Aston Martin, Alonso Stroll picking up big points today, really big points, which is the worst case scenario when you have both cars out of the points, which is our case. Russell, the winner, Sainz P2, Hamilton P3 with the fastest lap. Mercedes again showing their improved form. Verstappen P4. Alonso Stroll in the top 6, which is really bad news. Bottas also in the points in P7 ahead of Charles Leclerc. Something happened to him because he was on pole and dropped through like a stone, possible damage. Ocon for Alpine P9, which is okay, only a couple of points. And Sargent in the top 10 for Williams. Fair play, Logan. First points, I believe, of the season for him. As for us, though, yeah, it's ropes. Ropes, ropes, ropes. What a disaster of a home race for both of us and the team. And in the standings, that does mean Alonso now pulls away quite a bit. Bottas and Stroll cut the deficit quite a lot with that points haul. Leclerc still leading the way by 15 points, but the key thing here is the Constructors' Championship, which Aston Martin have overtaken us, and well, they've re-overtaken us, and they're back up into P4. So we're 5 points adrift. The gap to Alfa Romeo is quite large, and Alpine even bigger, so that's not much of a concern. Our battle right now is with Aston Martin. So our focus goes to the next race. We've got some upgrades on the way. We'll try and add some more in the next episode. We kind of, lost a bit of momentum, focusing on durability, so we're going to try and get back on the performance upgrades and try to turn things around. So, yeah, guys, that is it for this race. Like, subscribe. Apologies for the race. They're not always going to be good races or classics every single time, and sometimes these things happen. So, apologies. My fault, my crash, and we'll try and bounce back in the next one. But yeah, guys, cheers for watching. As always, a big shout out to the members for supporting the channel. And finally, check out the 2 videos on screen regarding other F1 23 content. But yeah, cheers for watching, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, and it's goodbye from me.